Hi everyone! A few months ago, I made a recap video for you after 1 year with my solar setup. Just as a reminder, I installed 18 solar panels on my roof, which is 8.4 peak kilowatts and a 13.4 kilowatt hour battery. And while analyzing the data, I realized there was a big problem. My panels produce a lot of electricity. That's not really a problem. The problem is that they produce way more than I had planned. Basically, I sent 127 kilowatt hours back to the grid for free, which is about 37% of everything I produced with my solar panels. That comes to about 700 euros worth of lost electricity. And at the same time, in 2025, how much did I buy from EDF? 700 euros? That means I literally produced what I needed. I just wasn't able to use it at the right time. It's pretty stupid, honestly. And I'm definitely not the only one in this situation, because in France, thousands of houses have had solar panels installed on their roofs without installing a battery. They'll have the same problem as me soon. But I totally understand that installing, or rather having a professional install solar panels on your roof already costs thousands or even tens of thousands of euros. So adding thousands or even tens of thousands of euros more for batteries, well, it wasn't the priority for most people. But that's exactly why today, well, we have a very concrete solution to this problem. It's right next to me. It's the new battery from Anker SOLIX, the Solarbank Max AC. The idea is really simple. You place the battery somewhere at home, inside or outside. You plug it into an outlet in your house, and it will automatically store the excess power from the solar panels during the day and automatically power the house in the evening. There is absolutely no need for a professional. The installation takes just a few minutes. It's really plug and play. And above all, it's compatible with all solar installations. So today I'm going to connect this battery in my house. We'll see how it stores the surplus from my solar panels. We'll see how the app works. And most importantly, we'll ask ourselves if it's really worth installing this kind of product at home. Let's get started.
Come on, let's go. Time to get to stepping out the door. Spread those wings, cause we wanna see more, do more.
The battery has a storage capacity of 7 kilowatt hours, and it can receive and send, because it's bidirectional, 3,500 watts of power. Basically, that means during the day, it can store up to 3,500 watts of surplus production each hour. And at night, well, it can send up to 3,500 watts into the house to power all the devices. If these numbers don't mean much to you, that's okay. Just know that it's much more powerful than what you actually need, but that's okay because if it can handle more, it can definitely handle less. So, it's still a relevant product for your setup. The battery weighs 73 kilograms, so be careful, it's plug and play. Yes, but you still need two fairly strong people to install it. For me, it's really a battery to put in a laundry room, a garage, or on a terrace since it's IP66 rated, but be careful, you shouldn't place it directly on wood. You still add an extra layer of protection to be even safer. And if you want more storage, you can add up to 5 additional BP 7000 batteries to reach a total of 42 kilowatt hours. Be careful, this is absolutely not a battery for going off-grid. If there's a power outage, the battery will stop powering the house. But you'll always have an outlet on the side where you can plug in your devices and deliver up to 3,680 watts. Above all, it's a battery to save energy. It's really for people who are connected to the grid, who already have solar panels on their roof, and who just don't have a battery yet. There you go, in just a few minutes. They add storage, which is essential to make their setup more profitable. The main selling point of Anker SOLIX with this Solarbank Max AC battery, it's always a mouthful to say, is that it's a plug-and-play installation that won't take more than 5 minutes. That's what they write on their website. So, I suggest we check that out.
It's the journey, not the destination. Pick up, get up, we bounce.
To start, I'm going to place the battery somewhere and plug it into a socket in the house. I'm definitely not plugging it into a power strip or a damaged outlet. Okay, that took me a minute. Well, it did require 2 people because the battery's pretty heavy, but it's quick. Now, the second step is a bit more complicated. I'll need to install a smart meter in my electrical panel. So it's like a circuit breaker with a small sensor clamp that will actually measure what I'm sending back to the grid, or what I buy from the grid. So this will allow the battery to know in real time when to store energy if I'm producing too much with my solar panels, and most importantly, when to give it back to me so I don't have to buy it from the grid. This part of the installation is a bit more complicated. You don't need to be an electrician, but you do have to open your electrical panel, cut the power to be safe, and tinker with a couple of wires. It can quickly take about 10 minutes anyway. Installing the smart meter is almost mandatory because without it, well, your battery is blind. It won't know precisely how much electricity is stored or returned to you. You can make some adjustments yourself on the app if you don't have a smart meter, but it's still much less effective without it. So it's essential. In conclusion, installing the battery, actually placing it and plugging it in takes just a minute. On the other hand, installing the smart meter takes about 10 minutes. So it's not 5 minutes to install this battery, it's a little longer, but it's easy to do. And now I suggest that we take another look at the app to see exactly how this battery works. We're on the app, and here I see a 3D view of my house. At the top left, I see my solar panels producing 5.27 kilowatts of electricity, so there's a surplus. Normally, that would be sent back to the grid, but now the battery will capture it. Next to it, I see the power that the house is currently consuming. Right now, it's at 0 watts. That's normal, the solar panels are powering the house. So actually, well, the house isn't consuming anything right now because, well, the panels basically cover everything. Then, at the bottom right towards the power grid, I'm sending back 3.45 kilowatt. So that's everything the battery can't store because the battery, as you can see at the bottom left, is at 31% capacity, and I've set it so it doesn't take more than 1 kW of surplus at a time. I'll explain a bit later why I did that. But basically, at a glance, I can see what my panels are producing, what my house is consuming, what I'm buying or what I'm sending back to the grid, and most importantly, the state of my battery. I was telling you that I limited the battery to 1 kW. Actually, when I go into the settings here, I can set the grid power limit, maximum grid power 1000 watts, maximum power to the grid 1000 watts. Why did I do that? Because on a standard outlet in your house, generally, I advise you not to exceed 1000 watts. If you want to reach 1600 or even 2000 watts, I recommend that you use a dedicated circuit and a heavy-duty outlet, like outlets for electric cars, for example. And if you want to go up to 3500 watts, be careful. You really need to know what you're doing, have the right cable sizes, the right circuit breaker, a dedicated circuit, and heavy-duty outlets. Finally, 3500 watts. You see, when I click on it, I can choose and go up to 3500. Let's just say it's not meant for you if you don't know exactly what you're doing. Even 1000 watts will be more than enough. There you go. I'm going back to the home page. If the battery charges at 1000 watts well, in 6 or 7 hours, it will be fully charged. So that's more than enough. And if it discharges at 1000 watts well, it'll be the same for 7 hours during the night, 1000 watts per hour. That will help me offset my consumption at night. So that's more than enough for most of you. And then below, I'll show you a little bit of everything we have in the app. So first we can choose the mode. I chose the self-consumption mode. So actually the battery is connected to the smart meter that's in my electrical panel. And so it follows the demand in real time to maximize how much of my own electricity I use. Actually, it will know, like right now, I'm overproducing electricity. So it stores it. If I need electricity, it sends it back to me. Very simple. But I have another mode, which is the smart mode. And this smart mode does exactly the same thing. But in addition, there's an AI that knows exactly where I live. So it knows the weather conditions where I live. And so it can predict that tomorrow, for example, there won't be any sun. So today, it will store a little more, consume a little less to save energy for tomorrow in order to maximize my savings. There you go. So that's pretty interesting. I either leave it in self-consumption mode or in smart mode. But let's put it in smart mode instead. That'll be better. There you go. There's even a little meter. AI optimization hasn't saved you any euros yet since I just set it up. Then below, you can see exactly how much you've gained, how much CO2 emissions you've avoided, how much energy has been produced with this system, or rather stored with this system. Then below, there's a detailed report by day, week, month, and year, showing how much electricity I've produced, how much my home has consumed, how much the battery has stored, and how much electricity I've bought from the grid. So there you go. I really have all the information I need. I have a little energy summary below under my devices. You can see that I have my Solarbank Max here, and most importantly, I have a Shelly 3 Pro. Yes, I didn't use the smart meter from Anker. Actually, I have a Shelly that I use for all the batteries I test. It's a system that works with any brand, so it also works with Anker. It was pretty good. Next, the big new feature is this little bubble you see here. When I click on it, it's Anker's AI that I can talk to, and that will explain things to me. So basically, how is my setup? Is it well connected? In short, it can answer all my questions. For example, I'll ask it, how much should I save this week? It's going to gather all the data, see what it's storing, know where I live. Basically, a lot of pretty personal data, but that will allow it to answer me properly. And there you go. For example, right now, current data, solar savings this week, €0. Actually, it didn't predict anything, but it tells me that for now, I've saved €0 with a rate of 20 cents. Analysis, no savings since Monday, so either low production or the Solarbank hasn't been used much. Yes, I just installed it. But anyway, once I've used it, actually, I'll be able to ask it what my grid input power is. What about my PV energy used last week? What is the input power of the Solarbank storage? I'll be able to ask it lots of questions. It's really going to be my personal advisor. Should I add an extra battery module? Should I buy more panels? Anyway, it's really very interesting to have an AI, basically a ChatGPT-style chatbot integrated into the system. The app that will allow me to better understand how my system works and at the same time optimize it to maximize my energy savings. Now, the big question is this battery cost effective? The Solarbank Max AC costs €2,499, but there are often promotions. For example, right now it's at €2,199, and Anker claims a lifespan of 10,000 cycles, which is about 15 years. One cycle is 7 kilowatt hours of charging and discharging. That corresponds to about €1.6 of electricity at the current price of 20 cents. Taking into account the increase in electricity prices, I should have saved €2,099 after about 1,300 cycles, which is what we'll do in 2 to 3 years. So the battery will have paid for itself, and it will still have 8,700 cycles of lifespan left, which means a good 10 years where it will continue to save energy and therefore money. Actually, you really have to understand that a battery is not a gadget. It's an investment that's actually very, very profitable because the battery pays for itself in 2 to 3 years. Let's say maybe a little bit more, but it has a lifespan of 15 years. So actually, for dozens of years, or rather about 10 years, you're going to save money with a product that has already paid for itself. I should add, though, that this level of profitability isn't specific to Anker. All plug-and-play batteries today offer about the same level of profitability. What will really be, let's say, unique to Anker is mainly the ecosystem, the app. That's really what makes the difference compared to other products on the market.
Not the destination. Take up, get up, we
In conclusion, I'm absolutely not telling you to buy this battery. First, check if you actually need one. If during the day you already use up everything your panels produce, then there's no point in adding storage. On the other hand, if, like me, you have plenty of times when you send electricity back to the grid for free and plenty of other times when you buy energy from the grid, then in that case, having a battery can make a lot of sense. After several years with solar panels on my house, I realized that what's really most important is not so much producing so much electricity, but rather producing it at the right time and managing to use the energy when you really need it. And that's where this kind of plug-and-play battery addresses a real problem. This isn't the first time Anker has released a plug-and-play solar battery. There have been other models that we've tested on this YouTube channel. I'll put the links in the description if you're interested. I'll also provide more information, including links to buy at the best price. Ask questions in the comments. I'll gladly answer. Feel free to discuss and debate. Let me know what you think about this battery. Thank you for watching this video until the end. I hope you learned a lot from it. See you very soon on this channel. I'm Julian Malara. Bye. Ciao.